All right, welcome back. We are ready here, so I'm going to throw it over to Satan herself, britsha, for Peggle Deluxe and Peggle Knights.
Are we ready? Sorry. Okay. Hi. Hi, everybody. My name is Satan herself. I'm going to be playing Peggle Deluxe for you guys today. I think everybody up here should introduce ourselves. I'll explain the category and we can get started. Britsha?
Hello, I'm britsha. I'll be running Peggle Knights in this run.
I am Poetry Stud. I will be commentating.
I am Brassbeat. I will be joining poetry on comms.
Yes, and we will need them both because this is a really interesting category. This isn't really a traditional race. It's actually more of a co-op run. So basically it's called Master Lock, which means that we can't be using the same master power at the same time, even though britsha and I will be playing simultaneously. And we have the choice of whichever masters that we want to use in Peggle. So that might not mean a lot to all of you right now, but it'll become much more obvious what that means when we play. Brassbeat and Poetry are going to explain both how the game works and what a master power is and why it's interesting that we have to kind of avoid each other's masters here. Also, if you've ever played Peggle Knights, there's a master there that's exclusive to Peggle Knights called Marina. She's great, but since she's exclusive to Peggle Knights, we ban her for this run. So we're only going to be using the masters that you can see in Peggle Deluxe. Yeah. So that's the idea.
I guess, do you want to do a countdown, Satan, for you guys to begin? Then we can start explaining some stuff as you get going.
Absolutely. So timing's going to begin for both of us when we hit the adventure mode. And then the timing is going to stop, by the way, for the audience's benefit, when we hit the continue button after the last level is done. And the official time for the whole run will be when the second person is done running, which is very important. Yeah, again, they will explain how important it is. So let's do a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. And I guess if you'd like, Satan, you want me to kind of hop in with some of the basics, me and Brassbeat, rather?
Absolutely.
Okay, so, I mean, Peggle at its very core, if you don't know, Peggle is, it's an arcade-style game. You're seeing the gameplay right now. It's generally about clearing all of the orange pegs from a level. And obviously, when you're speedrunning it, you want to do that in the quickest way possible.
Oh, wait, I'm so sorry. File name. I'm so sorry.
All right.
That's
Everybody
right.
Go out. Timer stop.
False start.
False start. 5 yards back. Anyway, I'm so sorry. Event organizers, Multithon people, what were the winners for our file name?
It looks like, let me just double check here, make sure it's fully updated. Looks like the winners are Peggle and Umaro.
Okay. I don't know which one of us should do which.
What was it? Peggle?
I guess so. No, it's Peggle. I got
Peggle.
it. I've been watching this big work here. Yeah, you do the other one.
So, what, we rename one of our NG Plus profiles then?
Yeah, just rename the one you're going to use. Yep. Peggle.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody, who donated for that, by the way. And yeah, there's more Peggle.
How do you spell the one that I'm doing?
It is Umaro.
Okay.
Peggle did ultimately prevail. Good job, everyone. All Peggle fans.
Okay.
All right, now let's get going for real, I guess.
Okay. I guess if you want to do the countdown again, Satan, and then...
Yep. Let's do it. All right. Apologies. False start. It happens. All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, and here we go again.
Oh wait, I can't use this file. That's okay. We're gonna do a little something fun here. I'm gonna get to actually show off Scott real quick.
Yeah, you just gotta get
so
through
I
the
just
first
put in
level.
a quote-unquote cheat code that makes me able to play super fast. You just type Scott in the chat. You can do this at home.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm ready.
And now we're good to go.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, Peggle has a lot of quirks, and that is one of them. I guess I can continue where I was talking about how the gameplay is it's fairly intuitive because it's just about clearing all the orange pegs from the level, and that's at its core it. I guess Brassby, do you want to talk about anything right away?
Well, yeah. So basically, the interesting thing, what makes this run really interesting is that while every level has sort of a predetermined layout in terms of collisions and things, the distribution of like orange and blue packs, and as well as those special packs, the green and purple ones that you see, they're all pretty much fully randomized. So while there are some things you can do, the physics engine still deterministic. So if you do the same inputs every time, if you do the same inputs from the start, you can get a certain good shot if you know that it's gonna do clear a bunch of the level. But at the end of, that only like gets you in a few shots before it stops being the most efficient thing to do. And so you end up having to like when you end up switching a lot between on one hand you need to execute a certain set pattern as fast as possible, and then you have to improvise a lot. Just try to pick off the oranges as best as you can.
Yeah. Not only that, with a run like this specifically, where both of the runners here are switching between different characters, it gets a lot more chaotic than just like, again, as Brassbeat said, some of the stuff is deterministic, like with the physics themselves, but then how the levels play out is very different with different masters, for instance.
Yeah, I guess we should probably explain that a little bit more. So, there's kind of only going to be 4 main master powers you're going to see us using throughout the game. I'm going to be using Who for a little while up here, which is a basically an aimbot, a mini aimbot. I will aim somewhere, and then the game will determine the highest point shot that's nearby to where I aimed, and it'll do that instead. So blue pegs aren't worth very much, and greens aren't either, but all the other pegs, the oranges and the purples, are worth a lot. So who's going to be going for those pegs? And since we want to go for the oranges, it kind of happens to work out. But that's, that's how that works. Britsha is mostly going to be using Tula for the beginning of the game here, who is a master who gets 20% of all remaining oranges based on proximity to where the green was that you hit. So obviously that's really, really good for us.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, it is worth pointing out that, it's in the title, but this is 2 separate Peggle games, Peggle Deluxe and Peggle Knights, which are mostly the same in how they work at a base level, but have different levels and also slightly different implementations of things. And one of those differences is the fact that Tula, who britsha was using and will be using a lot more of in the future, Tula is much stronger in Peggle Knights than she is in Peggle Deluxe. She's good in both games, but she is insanely good in Peggle Knights.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's
Speaking
also
of britsha, can I use Tula for the next level? Coming here.
Yeah, I just changed the sender.
Perfect, right on schedule. All right, continue.
Okay. Yeah, and so the coordination here that we're going to hear a lot of throughout the run is because with it being a master lock, the whole point of this co-op run is that neither of them can be using the same master at the same time. And so Tula, while not being as good in Deluxe as a Knight, she's still good, as mentioned before. And so Satan has switched to using Tula here, whereas britsha is on a few levels here where Cinderbottom, with his fireball ability, is actually pretty strong. And so it's about balancing where both of the runners are at in this run with what their strengths are with the characters, and making sure they both have a character that can work with it.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you are going to see mostly the more powerful characters being used on knights because it is a harder and longer game.
Mm-hmm.
Just FYI. Continue, Russ.
The interesting thing about what does a normal NG Plus run look like? In both games, it turns out you basically just use Tula for what's mostly the easier levels, and then Cinderbottom for the hard levels that have like obstacles you gotta navigate. Which does make things interesting since, both runners want to be able to use want to have a pick of either of those two masters, and that means you're gonna see some interesting pivots happening when one of them is gonna go from like a Tula level to a Cinder level, but Cinder's already taken.
Saved.
What is gonna happen in that case? That's cool, nice. There's a few things you can do. You could just decide to wait out until your partner has finished their level. You will sometimes see people just use Who, because Who is still like pretty decent on any level, almost any level.
He's a good backup character, basically.
Yeah.
And here we see that both of the runners are in the second set, but britsha is almost to the third set already. And part of the reason that we have britsha running knights is because he knows those levels very well. Not that both of these runners do, but britsha has recently been grinding Peggle knights a lot. And Brassy mentioned before, but Peggle knights is actually, or Satan mentioned as well, that beyond the games being different.
Nice, good save for.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, that was a close one. Peggle knights is a bit harder, but is also a bit longer of a game. It has 5 more levels. Peggle Deluxe has 55 levels, and Peggle Knights has 60. So that is part of the consideration when thinking about who's going to take which game, and
Yeah, exactly. Also, britsha, how are you doing on Cinder stuff?
So
I'm coming up on
the good
2-5
thing
here.
about this run that we're doing is that we can actually see each other's point of view. So I know that you're on Who. So yeah, I've changed to Tula, and I'm ready for you to use Cinder on the next level.
Great. I actually don't have your POV up. I'm trying to have my computer use as less everything as possible
keep you up
for
to
a
date
smoother
too,
stream. So
if needed.
yeah. Perfect. This is the first one I'm going to use Cinder in because this level is actually way harder than it looks. It's the first level in Peggle Deluxe without any with moving pegs. And moving pegs throw us Peggle runners for a big loop because we have a lot of strategies that rely on those consistent physics that Brassbeat was describing earlier. And if you have moving pegs, you actually can't really execute most of those strategies. So, yeah.
Yeah,
it's better to have a stronger master that's going to help you be able to get through it more consistently.
And it is funny because it is still technically deterministic. You just have to be frame perfect with your shots, and Peggle actually runs at 100 frames per second too. So even more than a lot of games, frame perfect is not really humanly feasible to get consistently, at least. Yeah.
Pretty much. Although this is a perfect time to plug the incentive, Wolfie, if you'd like to, because that the full clear on my end does require a pixel perfect shot, sort of.
Wow, that sounds really great to see, and we are still 150 off from that at the moment. So let's get those donations in and get that incentive met. We want to see these runners, have to do harder and more levels.
Yeah, there's
Exactly.
I
there
changed the
is
Cinder, by the way, Satan.
Okay, great. I'm still with who at the moment? At a
okay.
weird 3-1 generation right now. Okay.
Yeah, so britsha up at the top with, well, it's top for me, but on the right side with Cinderbottom here is on a pretty tricky level. But looks like he's got a good generation here. And that is one thing that's always interesting with Peggle runs is that beyond the choice of master being a massive part of this run, it also comes down to sometimes like resetting for better generation, among many other things that are, done with the goal of making the game more consistently clearable. Peggle is, even at a high level, pretty difficult and pretty hard to get like consistently with no fails. So for instance, britsha here only has 1 ball left, but he manages to get that shot.
Yeah, that's why it's really important, and actually I've been doing more of this in this run than I would normally. Just had some weird generations. But to be able to do what we call free balling, which basically means being able to land the ball from the peg of interest, whichever one you want. Oh, that would have been cool. Into the free ball bucket consistently, because that gives you a ball back. So even if you're at 1 ball, you can finish out the level. Yeah. That's how we kind of saved that. But you only start with 10 balls, and you can only get them back through, as we just discussed, free balling, or getting enough points in a single shot.
Okay.
We're going to see plenty of hard levels where being able to get those few extra balls is going to matter quite a bit.
Absolutely. As we're getting into kind of the meat of the out of the early game and into the meat of the mid game here, is there anything you guys want us to talk about, Satan, britsha? Anything we haven't covered so far that we should?
I guess just generally like how Cinder works, because I just don't think we explained that.
Okay.
Cinder's important.
Brass, you're more of an expert with Cinder than I am, I would say.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about Cinderbottom is you get the fireball that burns through all of the pegs, but then the bucket gets a cap on top of it. So what the game sort of wants you to do is try to bounce off of the cap of the bounce the fireball off of the cap of the bucket, but it turns out to require a bit more precision than what you might expect, because the surface of the cap, it turns out that it is curved a fair bit. So basically the angle of the bounce that you're gonna get can vary quite a bit depending on your execution. There are some strats people use where you do want to get a very specific angle. I think neither of these runners tends to go for those
Can I
kind
use
of strategies.
Cinder, Bridger?
Oh, I'm still using Cinder.
Okay, no
I'll be
problem.
done after this level.
Nope, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah, let me know when you're done. I'll just
Yeah.
use Tula for now. Oop. Yep, that's not what I wanted. I'm trying to do, by the way, what's called a pixel shot right now. This is a very important category of openers / predetermined strats, and there we go, we got it. Where you aim at a specific pixel or sometimes collection of pixels on the board. Because Peggle is so low res, you're actually able to do that with a fair amount of accuracy. And the coordinates of your pixel are what determine where the ball is going to go. So we found a couple of pixels that let us do that big slide for free. So yeah, that's what I just did.
Yeah,
I've changed the Cinder, by the way.
Great,
Oh.
I will use him next time.
Okay. And yeah, the pixel shots that Satan was mentioning are crucial in both Peggle Deluxe and Peggle Knights. So we're seeing a lot of those from both of these runners.
Yep.
Mhm.
And britsha here, switch to who, as he said before.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
I want you to look at what Satan's gonna do with Cinder now, because that is
missed
something.
it.
Oh,
I play too much knights. The timing is weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, explain what it would have done. I did it successfully in 2-5. Yeah.
yeah. So basically, I was talking about Cinder and how you're kind of intended to go off of the top, but what we found out like half a year or so ago, not even, is that it's actually like far easier to use the side of the bucket to bounce off of. Usually the window you get is like around a quarter of a second even, so it's in Deluxe it is completely free to hit it with like 95% accuracy. In Knights there's a bit of a weirdness where...
Wait, sorry, britsha, what are you using right now?
Chula.
Okay, great. Thanks. Continue.
Yeah. In Knights there's a bit of weirdness where the window is a bit smaller because some of the geometry of the bucket is like slightly different, and this basically trips anyone up when they switch between Deluxe and Knights. It's always actually kind of hilarious to watch when that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really funny too, because I was saying earlier how the games are fairly identical at a core level, but the more you play and the more kind of advanced the strategies get, the less that seems to be the case. So
yeah, the buckets are a little bit different. So what I was trying to do there was a wall fireball shot, which would have bounced off of the side and done some really nice diagonal clears. But as you can see, because I play more knights, the timing is different in knights, so it was a little bit of oh, that's not good. Of an adjustment. Yeah.
Britsha's got a bit of a
too
tricky
many
situation
moving pegs
here.
in this level
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
to be
that's
able to free ball
unfortunate.
like that.
that is unfortunate. And Britsha's also in a bit of a tricky spot. He has it down to a point where it's viable. Okay, and he got it, but it was a little close there.
Yeah, that was just in
I'm checking the Cinder.
a cursed generation for me.
Okay, so Britsha's on Cinder now,
Great.
and yeah, unfortunately, Satan had to is having to redo this one. This is a very difficult level, especially if you don't know some of the strats. It can be absolutely brutal.
Yeah, no, this is a tough one. Even if you do know the strats, it depends on the generation. Like that last one was going to be hard no matter what I did, because most of the oranges were in the moving pegs. And, you know, unless you do the strat that lets you do the entire moving belt, which we call the water break, you know, you're just going to have to figure that one out.
Yeah. Okay. This attempt for Satan seems to be going a little better. It's still a little tight, but let's see.
I'll be fine. I'm not worried about this one.
Yeah.
I've got free ballable pegs now.
Yep. Yeah, and that's as we were saying earlier, free balling just to play it safe
Nice.
is
I did that for
nice
style.
shot. Yeah,
Nice.
it's definitely very important. Okay.
Okay, can I use Cinder now? Or no, britsha?
No. I can
Yeah.
change
No
up them
problem.
after this.
Nope, no problem. You're good.
Yeah, and this is part
Yeah,
of
I
the
mostly defer to
difficulty.
britsha because Knights is so hard and much longer. Well, not much longer, but longer.
Yeah, Britsha right now is on 5-2, which is infamous in Peggle Knights of being one of the most free ballable levels, one of the ones where you can really pick it apart. And he's making through. And it's kind of funny, in fact, we have the order of the levels in terms of what masters normally go with them is a little bit different between the two games, but they're actually both on the Splork levels right now. So that's part of why there's a little bit of overlap in them both wanting to use Cinderbottom, because a lot of the Splork levels tend to be laid out with lots of blocks and lots of clusters of stuff. And so...
Speaking of Splork, here he is.
Yep.
So this is the last master that you're going to see us use at least sporadically throughout this run. The power is called Space Blast here, and it does exactly like shown. If you hit a green, it gets all of the pegs around it in a big blast. Yay.
Yeah, Splork is very situational, but because it is he can have a lot of value, then certain levels he is definitely the meta still.
Yeah, I reset for generation there, but it still might not have been quite enough.
Nice shot.
Perfect. Yeah, that's taking advantage of something called the multiplier. So every time you hit an orange, your multiplier goes up, and what that means,
Nice.
like that, is that each peg actually gives you more points when you have a higher multiplier. So you can see on the right side, the fever meter is what that is. Can I use Cinder?
Yeah.
Perfect. This level, you really want Cinder. I would have waited for Cinder in this level. At least a little bit of time.
Yeah, this is a
luckily
perfect
you didn't have to.
example. 4 or 5 in Deluxe on the left side that Satan is doing is, it's one where if you're in New Game Plus, which both these runs are, then Cinder is pretty much a necessity. I don't even know who I would pick as a second choice. Probably Splork or maybe Who, but and that's a good start to it. Let's see.
Nice.
Looks like it.
So that's not quite a true wall fireball, but we use it because this level geometry likes that fireball instead.
Alright, I'll change to Who, but I'd like to use Cinder when I can.
You can use them right almost now. Fever.
No.
Now.
This is a very
use them on the next
infamous
level.
part of Peggle speedrunning.
Are you Who? Right
Yeah,
now?
I'm Who at the moment.
6.
Yeah. This is like a very infamous part of Peggle speedrunning. Just so much of your time save can swing from just that final shot where you have where either the ball just goes in instantly, or if it doesn't, then it tends to throw you for a loop for like 5 seconds at a time. And over all of those levels, like but
Thanks,
more than
Bob.
anything, it's just something that's just really awkward to sort of aim properly. So in many cases, a sort of advanced strategy is to pay attention to which packs are like good to actually finish on, so that you have like a better shot at like getting a fast fever.
Yeah.
And in
You
general,
want to
like
aim
this
straight
and,
into the
Cinder.
bucket if possible. At the end of the level.
what'd you say, britsha? Sorry.
I'm Cinder now. I will stay
Okay,
Cinder for
great.
quite a
I'm
while.
Tula. Great.
Okay.
I can use Tula for quite a while. So this is the synced up part of the run mostly, where I want to
Yeah.
use Tula and Britsha wants to use Cinder, so it's really nice.
Well, that sounds like a good time for me to ask if I can jump in for a quick announcement.
Absolutely, you can.
All right, we do have 2 new bid wars that did open up for everyone to donate to, and you can donate to both the target of getting more Peggle and these bid wars. So don't
We
forget.
call that Fitzgerald, by the way. Continue.
So, why don't we, Peggle is a great way to be able to get, some puns out of it. We had some puns in chat earlier with like Archipelago. So why don't you donate in towards those incentives and, put it in a good Peggle related pun. The bid wars are for forewarned, dog, or bird companions. Bird is 10% faster, but dog is dog. And Overcooked 2 Chef Choice. So let's get those donations in.
Yeah. Okay. And here we see, as we're looking at the sort of mid game here, part of the reason that the choices are so in sync here, with Britsha almost exclusively wanting Cinder, and with Satan almost exclusively wanting Tula, is just with the layouts. It just has to do with kind of the level design in these games. Peggle Knights has a lot of levels with blocky features that just make it a lot easier with Cinderbottom in general. Whereas Deluxe has some of that, but it has a lot more just kind of clusters pegs all over the place, which is not the best for Cinder. It works with Tula pretty well.
Yeah. For sure. That will change later, but for the mid-game, that is absolutely true. You're supposed to be using Claude here, who does give you, like, pinball flippers, basically. Very fun power, not very fast, though. But that's why everything's kind of spread out in most of his levels. So, very nice for Tula. Ooh, that was fancy.
Let's see.
That was not fancy. Oh, it was fancy.
Okay. And I think we have, let's see, we had the one reset earlier, the one level fail in 4-2 on Deluxe, and I think that's it so far, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
as far as I know.
both runs going pretty smooth. The thing is, like, Peggle, this goes for any run, not just this, but Peggle it's pretty hard to do without failing any level. Like, even like the top runners of both of these games will still lose at least once in a run, more often than not, because, well, you know, it's kind of a rule of large numbers thing. Just eventually something's going to go wrong. You might just get a little unlucky, and yeah, so it's about minimizing the risk and trying to do as well as you can.
About to do a cool pixel shot here.
Yeah, this is really cool what Satan's about to do. See? Okay.
Have time to off, we'll see. Yeah, off timing.
Okay, yeah.
Oh well.
So it's one of those.
Just very slightly.
Since this level is mostly unmoving,
Still
you can
cool.
you can get these cool slides that get all or most of the slides. And this one does have a bit of timing with the pegs that are slightly swaying there, but Satan's still got enough to set her up very nicely here. Britsha's in a bit of a rough spot on his level. He's doing the free balling that we were talking about earlier. Okay, and he makes it through. So just once you get down to the point, sometimes you have to take your time, but it's much better. It's much better to take your time, go a little bit slow at the end of a level, than have to redo the whole level again. Is the logic. See.
Yeah, of course, if you're PB grinding, maybe that's not the case. But
yeah, sometimes.
They're in marathons.
Yeah, and that is one thing, is that as the Peggle community in the past couple of years has gotten much more advanced with strategies and just also much more optimized in general, a lot of the times now runners won't even go for free balls as much. A lot of runners that are grinding for top PBs will just kind of have to hope that it works out well and really just send it the whole time.
Yep, so it completely depends on context, what you're going to want to do. And as Brassbeat said earlier, all of the organization of the pegs stays the same, but the actual colors of the pegs change every single time you boot up a level. So, you know, there's a lot. Nice. There's a lot of improvisation that you need to do run to run. That's why there can be a lot of errors. But it's also why it's so
Yeah, that's I mean, you know, personally, that's why I really like speedrunning Peggle, because in the end, the way you get better is just by getting better at the core loop, you know, lining up shots and working your way, thinking strategically. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll kind of soft say this here. Well, I'll say first, exactly. There's a ton of room to get really, really fast in this game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That isn't learning a bunch of fancy and really hard to do strats. Which is one reason why it's quite fun to play, regardless of what kind of player you are. But also, you know, there's a ton of good strats that don't require a ton of skill, and there's a ton of good strats that do require a lot of practice. So, you know, you can do some impressive things without practicing for 10,000 hours on it. And I'm actually going to be hosting a community-wide event pretty soon that actually puts that into the forefront. I'm kind of soft launching here. Yeah, so it's going to be an event that bans a certain type of shot that's really, really popular for going fast, but is also super hard to do. So if you want to get into this game, that is the perfect opportunity. We have a ton of resources to help any beginners get started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the Peggle Discord is really, really helpful. Everybody really wants everybody to succeed, and we love seeing new runners. So highly recommend.
Yeah, that's it's always funny too how the Peggle Discord is it's definitely, you know, there's a lot of the runners there, but there's also plenty of people who just love Peggle just in general. There's a large crowd of people who just, you know, have a lot of nostalgia for the game or just play it casually because it's just a lot of fun. And so lots of times it's fun to share strats with people who are just playing casually and may not have known about these crazy advanced strats that can really change the way that some levels play.
Also, I'm changing to Who now, and I'd
here.
like Cinder for the next level, because it's 8-1.
Okay. I might be having to redo this, so that would be fine if so.
Tough situation here.
6-4 is just hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't wait long enough there. That's fine.
So Satan's gonna have to redo 6-4.
6-4 is really difficult.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's really sort of ties around this big obstacle in the middle. By the way, all of those pegs that are like in the bat's face, they are all forced to, well, basically not be orange. You can see there's a green and a purple there, but all the orange pegs are like covered. So this level in particular really has a sort of risk-reward factor of am I gonna try playing around this middle block to avoid having to like dig our way through them, or do I just bite the bullet and spend time on clearing out those obstacles?
Mm-hmm.
And neither one is a guaranteed safe strategy.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I mean, nothing is true. Nothing is really safe in Peggle.
This is true. Speaking of, I may have to redo it again, which is very unusual, unfortunately.
I haven't done 8-1 now, so I don't need Cinder anymore. I've gone to Who.
Great. Ooh, nice.
And I'd like to be using Chula for like everything else.
Great. I will switch to Cinder once I'm done with this, and I should be able to beat it now. Okay. Yes.
Oh, nice. That was a good shot. Cleared out the way. Okay. So Satan is now on Cinder bottom. This level's good for Cinder. And now, as you heard, britsha saying that he would like to use Tula because, well, again, Tula is just always very good in both games, but especially in Knights. Okay. I guess I can kind of briefly touch on why exactly that is. I think we might have mentioned it earlier, but just as a reminder, or to go into the specifics, Tula in both games clears out 20% of the remaining oranges, but the difference is that in Peggle Deluxe, if there's only a few oranges left, she'll always hit a minimum of 1 if you get the green with her power. Only ever 1 when it's at a low level. In Knights, she will always hit at least 2 oranges, and that may sound like a minor difference, but what it means is that in both games it can be good to leave like her greens until the end of the level when there's only a peg buried away, and then you can instantly get rid of that last peg without having to like dig through a bunch of blues. But in Peggle Knights, it's even better because you can leave a couple pegs till the end, clear them both, even if they're on different sides of the board. You can save a couple shots that way, and so Tula's very good for that reason in Knights.
I kind of forgot about 8-4, which Cinder would be way better for, so I'm going to risk it with Splork.
Okay.
Okay. Apologies. I am still on 6-5. I should have restarted that generation.
Okay. And yeah, this is a good example as well of how, in general, this game involves a lot of thinking on the fly, but especially when you have to coordinate like this.
Mm-hmm.
That's better.
We have time for a very quick dono here.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, we have one from, let's say, Che for $10 that just says Peggle.
Nice.
Peggle indeed.
Peggle indeed.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all saw that, but I just did a fireball without hitting the bucket because there was no benefit to hitting the bucket. So you know, there's little things like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm too low at
I'm
the
gonna be
moment.
too
I'm
late
too low at
here.
the moment.
Oh, you're too late at the moment. Okay,
Yeah.
no problem. Who time?
That's the other thing that's nice too, is that luckily you can just restart the level. No harm, no foul if you yeah. If you
Yeah,
wanna use
you're
the
not
same
allowed
system.
to finish the level as the same master
Yeah.
that the other person is currently using, but otherwise it's okay.
Yep. No penalty for that.
I think when I first like introduced it, I was gonna be a bit more annoying about it and say, if you do end up on the same master, then both of you have to reset.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, it's also more of a cooperative endeavor than
Yeah.
a competitive one. So
Yeah. Also, as Brassbeak kind of referenced there, he was the one who came up with this category.
yeah.
Yeah. So Satan mentioned the sort of Peggle events that we've been hosting over time, and last at the end of January was sort of my first big event that I hosted, which was the Great Peggle War. And basically the idea is I invented a bunch of new race categories. And there will be
Hi, Huey.
Yeah, I'm interrupted by Huey. Hi, Huey.
Huey's this
community
caterpillar
memes.
down here.
Yeah, he's
We've
one of the-
dubbed that in the community, so say hi, Huey, everybody. Continue.
But yeah, so basically we had to we drafted up two teams. Britsha was one of the captains, and Helios is another Peggle speedrunner who served as the other captain for they were and this master lock, this was one of the categories that came out of it, and it was one that sort of caught the most some of the most interest in the of the rest of the community. Poetry might know that whatever I subjected him to
Yeah,
was certainly a more interesting sort of endeavor.
No, I think it's you know, a good bit of variety in that event, and we've had multiple things come from it. So yeah, this is an example of where this is mainly it's the same thing as normal, just now with a twist on the overall the meta format, right? But yeah, there was definitely a lot of other stuff too, like a unique level pack unique challenge pack that I had to endure. No, it was fun. It was a good time, and yeah, that we a lot of us have tried our hand at running different events. I've run a few. Britsha has run a couple. Britsha and I did like one together. That was his format idea.
Can I use Cinder?
Yeah.
There we go. And yeah, it's a good time.
Can I jump in with a quick donation? It is a question.
Yes.
We have a $10 anonymous donation that says, please elaborate on the lore behind the Great Peggle War. I need to hear this.
So yeah, the Great Peggle War, it was basically just a fun idea I had, since I wanted to sort of have a bunch of different things happen at once. And also, I wanted the races to sort of have be showcased in sort of a mini marathon format. What we did was we made two teams. They were Team Cat and Team Hat. And Britsha was the captain of Team Hat, and Helios was the captain of Team Hat. Yeah.
Are you using Cinder, Britsha?
No.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we had a bunch of we brought a bunch of great community members together to draft 2 teams out of that, and then each of them would be assigned to a different category. So, for example, I announced one of them to be a custom level pack featuring some challenges on the new challenges based on the Knights levels, and so Team Hats decided that Team Hats then assigned poetry to that category. In that case, there was a bit of I did pull a bit of a sneaky, and so I didn't mention that every challenge forced you to use Claude, which is one of the most memed upon characters, and also one of the weirdest to use overall.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah,
we have a ton of stuff like that
Yeah.
going on all the time.
In the end, the captains faced off in what's basically just normal Peggle Deluxe any percent, except they played on a mod where I moved all of the objects 1 pixel to the left. So like all of the predetermined strats were just gone instantly. And some of the teammates actually came together to sort of try to come up with new strats for these modified levels while the final race was happening, which was genuinely really cool to see. For a next event, that's definitely a good one to keep as sort of the grand finale. Of course, with the team sort of knowing that something like this can happen, then hope we can have like more of the community come together for such a thing. In the end,
Yeah,
team
the timing down now.
britsha secured their lead at the end for Team Cat, and yeah, that's basically how things happened there.
Yeah, and
Thank you for the story of the Great Peggle War. Excellent.
I also want to bring up something, which is that beyond having a lot of these different events that involve a lot of the community, obviously a lot of people, there's different waves of accomplishments with people grinding different things. But I do think it's worth pointing out that britsha recently took the throne in the game he's playing right now. With I guess it was almost a month ago now? It was a little bit ago, but fairly recent.
3 weeks, I think.
Yeah,
a couple weeks.
fairly recently, britsha took the any percent world record, and that is the most prestigious in both of these games. Is their any percent one? So it's worth pointing out that there is lots of always records being set and stuff.
Definitely. If you watched the Peggle Deluxe SGDQ run, which, by the way, I highly recommend, britsha also ran that one, and Poetry was also on comms with me at that marathon. We said at the time that Panaha was the world record holder in both any percents in both games. That is not true for both games now. So the community's had a lot of movement recently. Can I use Cinder, by the way?
Yes.
Fantastic, thank you. So it's a really active community, and we're finding new things to do and new strats, and new players are coming in all the time. So, it's great stuff. I really love the Peggle community. Excellent. I will not need to use Splork for a long time. So
Yeah, I was going to say that worked out really well, because Satan was Splork on the previous one, but then just got out of the way with it, so...
Yeah, this is actually a pretty well-synced pace we're on right now in terms of masters, which is nice.
And britsha here is at one of the toughest levels in Peggle Knights, where, if you see on the right side there is just a lot of pegs moving all over the place that are blocking a lot of the way to the orange pegs. And so this level is one of the most kind of random ones, but he looks like he's doing fine. Should be just fine getting through here. Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and I normally use Cinder on this one, but I knew that Satan needed Cinder, so I'm using the second best that I could use.
Yeah, thank you, because Dice is really annoying if you don't have Cinder.
Knights' 10-5 a really zany level that's just adds a lot of movement together, and it's in its infamy, it's perhaps only rivaled by Deluxe's 10-5, which you will get to. We will get to soon. Although there is an interesting difference in that the Deluxe version, there is basically a cheese strat you can do that just ends up being making the level so much nicer to deal with in NG Plus and derived categories like this one in particular. And that is something that the Knights version just does not have. You need to be able to deal with all the movement it throws at you.
Ooh, and britsha's in a tough situation here on 11-1. Oh, okay, and yeah, this is where
one is so hard.
yeah, and
there's
this
a reason
is where
for that, because of a master I can't use.
Exactly, yeah. So
which master are you using right now, by the way?
Chula.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So as Satan mentioned this briefly at the start of the run, but Peggle Knight's having 5 more levels than Peggle Deluxe does. That's because it has an extra Peggle master, but because the extra master named Marina isn't available in both games, then she is not allowed to be used. And what that means, though, is that her levels, and especially this first one, are really meant to be played with her ability, which is a long electro bolt ability. And unfortunately, these levels are very difficult, well, even with her, but especially without her abilities. So this is a little tight, but britsha gets through second try, and yeah, that's a good example of where a little bit of extra challenge in the Knights part of this definitely comes in.
Yeah, so you can see on these Who shots that he's really going for that purple. So basically when you're playing with Who, like I am right now, you kind of want to be strategizing the shots that you have Who with to get a lot of oranges and get the purple if you can. Because usually Who will cooperate best if he can reach the purple. Yeah.
All right, time for a quick donation.
Yes.
All right, we have a $15 donation from Mannequin saying, "Good luck, Satan and britsha. For my Peggle pun, I hope you both take it to the limit." I'm sorry, I'm terrible at puns.
I've never heard that. Mannequin.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Mannequin Z is a beloved community member. Oh, thank you.
Amazing. We are less than $100 away from that incentive. When you donate, be sure to put your donations to the incentives. You can do both a target and a goal bid work. So get them both, and we'll see more about that. Actually, speaking of that, Satan, britsha, why don't you guys talk about what that, those final full clear final levels entail?
We would be happy to. So basically, the final levels of Peggle Deluxe and Peggle Knights are pretty much the hardest levels in the game, more or less anyway. And what the incentive is to completely clear all of the pegs, every single one of them, not missing anyone from both of those levels when we get there. In britsha's case, britsha, if you want to describe how Shadowshine goes, you can. Do that.
Yeah, so my one will be like the more technical one of it, where it's like I'm going to be doing a string of opener shots, one by one, that will keep getting me free balls every time I do a shot while hitting a bunch of pegs. So it'll be like a really careful one that I'll slowly be doing on my side. And then for Satan's one, it's quite different.
Yes. Mine, I'm going to be trying to do a shot called the one-shot clear, which basically means that I can clear the vast majority of the level in one shot. And if you want to know how that looks, you better donate for that. It's going to be crazy. And if we can't get it, because it's one of the hardest strats in the game, probably the hardest, I will use Splork instead, and it will be still just as amazing. Either way, big shots, big clears, lots of points. You're gonna want to see it.
Yeah, it's really interesting too how the the last level in Peggle Deluxe, I would say, is the most. I would say it's probably the most dissected level in the whole game, except maybe for like first level in the game is pretty dissected too. But Brassbeat here has actually done a lot of the kind of like strat hunting for that level, and a couple times now has held the individual level world record for the last level in Peggle Deluxe, and it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, like we'll get to it when you'll see when we get to it, but nice. You get to it when you'll see when we get to it, but basically Deluxe's final level is by far one of the most has been one of the most interesting to sort of watch new strats develop, since they're all kind of things that are truly unique to the way that level operates, as opposed to, well, a handful of levels. They are just they can sort of just be pixel shot here, pixel shot there, and then try to and then get out as fast as possible. So yeah, it's been I'm choking on my words a bit. No worries.
That's the other thing though, is that when we're watching a run like this, there's twice as much stuff to kind of pay attention to.
Can I use who?
Yeah, and I'll need Cinder for the next level.
Perfect.
Perfect timing.
I love it.
Yeah, Satan just finished using. Oh, that's unfortunate. Britsha had a rough situation there.
Yeah, that was a situation where I hit green early on the opener, and I probably should have just reset after doing that, but I kept going.
Yeah, especially a lot of the characters, but especially with the characters that we've been seeing a lot of, the opening shots can get messed up. So, for instance, what Britsha was saying there is that he hit the green in the one of his early shots, and with Tula's green, it just clears out a bunch of nearby oranges. And what that means is that he didn't have pegs in the right place for the following strats to work. And lots of times that's how much of a difference it can make, is that if you don't really get the start that you're normally used to, or one that worked well, it might make the difference between losing and winning at all on that level.
What's funny about that situation though is it actually didn't ruin the opener. It's just more that, like, strategy-wise, it didn't help. Like, because there was so many buried pegs under it that Tula's green being late is really helpful.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is the opportunity cost.
I'll be sending out, and then I just need to be Tula for the rest of it. After that.
Oh. Satan had a bit of a rough situation there, but luckily it worked out.
Who helped us out? Because I left who for the very end there, and that let me basically get that. I'm going to avoid who here. Don't want to use him yet, because you can use your own homegrown strats here in this level. Oh, that's not the right angle though. I'm trying to avoid the green, but I should probably not be doing it. Oh, or maybe I can just do it perfectly. You never know.
Speaking of perfect time for announcement and maybe a donation or two.
Yes, go for it.
All right, we did just open up
so funny.
It is. We did just open up another bid war, hardcore uprising game mode choice. This is a bid war, which you can, again, you can donate, and your incentives can go to both the bid wars and a target. And our target at the current moment is the Peggle final levels. We're
coming up on that really, really fast, guys.
Yes. So get those donations in. We are $70 away. We're almost there.
Okay.
That's so close.
We get a train going, and we'll have that in no time. I believe in you, chat.
I should warn everyone. Britsha is on 12-2, and well, in theory, since they're ahead quite a bit, they could choose to wait to extend the donations, but I wouldn't bet on it.
It's gonna be coming up.
I don't see why not, because last person is the way we do
That's
this.
true.
That is true. Yeah, we have
Mhm.
a little bit longer on. Yeah. Satan has. I guess after this level there will be 7 more, and britsha has 3 more now.
That's just $10 per level. Come on, chat.
Come on, chat. You got this. We do have a donation here from Lai for $10. A good amount of the Peggle community is neurodivergent, so this is such a great cause for us to be involved with. Much love.
Thank you, Lai. I'm autistic myself, and I can say, with certainty that many people I know benefit so much from their lovely animals at home, and it's just a fantastic cause to be able to support that. So all of your money goes to an amazing cause and also to more Peggle. So yeah,
Yeah.
do it. Can I use Cinder?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. And britsha here is locked in concentration mode and manages to get through a very tough level. All the levels here at the end of the game are pretty tough, but the master levels in both games take it to a whole new level. Okay. And we see.
What also doesn't help is that, at least since the last time I was kind of plugged into the Knights meta, which isn't the case now, really. A lot of these master levels, you would definitely be using Marina.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's most definitely meta for 12-3 and 12-2. I don't think anybody doesn't use her, really.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, but I'm the person that uses Chula for all of these levels already.
That's
actually
true,
my
you do.
choice.
Yeah, that's funny.
That
actually
is
to know
true.
that you use.
Who are you using, by the way?
Still Chula, and there'll be Bjorn.
Okay, great.
Depending.
Zenfrog, by the way, commentators.
Yeah, this is so Satan here is on the infamous Zenfrog, which is I would say my choice for the hardest level in the game in Deluxe. Especially when you take into consideration that a lot of the other harder levels have strategies, whereas Zenfrog is kind of just a little bit up to chance, no matter what. And the reason for that is just with...
real quick.
Yes?
We have met the incentive.
No!
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, let's
Oh.
we got 2 donations just in the last minute here. One from Poetry Stud himself for $25.
Poetry.
He didn't leave a comment, but
Poetry.
and then,
I figure I'm running my mouth enough already, you know.
yeah, but you make me run my mouth. And then we also have a $50 donation from Addie Joe that says, "Do the thing."
Woohoo! Thank you guys so much.
Woo!
I will start pull clearing then.
Yeah, so that actually
Yeah,
immediately...
and actually, this is perfect because you guys can just watch britsha do that while I kind of get to the end.
Yes.
All eyes on Peggle Knights. This is really impressive.
Yeah, britsha here is going to be doing a very, very detailed sequence of shots on this level. If you don't, if you can't really see very well, the pink bars that have those shadows behind them are actually blockers, as in you can't shoot through those, as well as those orbs in the bottom. So there's a lot of obstacles here, and thus britsha is doing a bunch of very precise shots to get around them. I don't want to distract you, britsha, but off the top of your head, do you know how many shots are in this sequence overall?
These are actually Brass's strats. I think he has updated ones. I'm not sure, but
in the strats aren't actually fully intended for the full clear, since at the time the category I was focusing on was Knight's Grandmaster, where you need to hit a certain score requirement on every level. And because this is one of the hardest ones in that category, the strats sequence contains 10 shots in total.
Yeah.
Because if you get the bucket on all of them, then you get a crazy math skills bonus for 100,000 points.
Okay. That was really nice. So britsha here has only a few pegs left, but he's only got 3 balls, so he needs either a bit of luck or a single crazy shot to get a few for him. Okay, and there's one that he got for free. At that point, he has got 3 pegs left and only 3 balls left and only 3 pegs. And he even gets an extra one, so he has a bit of wiggle room in case that happens, in case he gets a no ball. And I believe the last... Yep, the last one is free.
Ooh.
And so now we just have Satan, who's going to be finishing up Deluxe, as britsha has done Peggle Knights and even full cleared the last level.
Congrats, britsha. That was, I don't know the exact time, but I can say from feel, that was pretty fast.
Yeah. I got stuff out
It seems to be around,
Oh, wow.
around the 59, 40 mark.
Yeah, sub-hour with a full clear at the end and dealing with master lock shenanigans is quite good.
And a loss, too, right? Was it just one loss, britsha?
2,
like
maybe 3.
Okay, yeah.
Again, very, very fast considering those variables.
Yeah, it's a pretty good spot here. Pretty good time. Okay, and Satan makes it through the first level of the master levels.
Yeah,
with
Poetry
formal.
made some pretty crazy strats for that level. That most people
It's funny
use
too, because
now.
on the last level of Knights that britsha just full cleared, I also have my own set of strats
On
that
the
is like
theme
10
of like
shots.
crazy strats, I'm not sure how much Satan's gonna go for on this level, but
Well, my
Yeah.
sequence is
yeah,
broken there.
that shot went a bit weird. But
Still not too bad,
there
though.
are runners who, in any percent of this category, will just go for like 6 different pixel shots that each get one of those slides to happen.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah, I do
crazy.
3 of them right now,
Yeah.
but that one was broken. Happens.
Yeah, and in general, a lot of these late levels have are oftentimes the ones that have the most strats because they are some of the most difficult. And when you're this far into a run, you really don't want to have a good pace die to a tough level. Okay, a bit of a tough spot here. Oh,
Yes.
that helps a good bit.
That was actually what I was going for, so I'm glad I got it.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Okay, Satan's getting trying to get a free ball there. Oh,
Wow.
that's unfortunate.
That is unlucky.
The bounces there can be pretty hard to judge on this level.
Yeah, the bottom ones I'd say are the hardest
Yeah.
out of all the pegs. There we go. See, I'm now showing off how to do the actual strat there, so at least that's good. Yep. There we go.
All right.
And yeah, it's very satisfying when the shots do work here.
Bit here. Ah, not quite. That's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Doing it for the fans.
Okay.
I'm gonna just wing it.
While you're redoing this level, I do just want to jump in real quick and say we do have a new incentive that just opened. Payday 3 upgrade the difficulty. If you want to see things get a lot harder for those runners, get your donations in.
Okay.
You can see how much of a difference it makes to have just stuff lined up well for those fireballs.
Yep. Yeah, I should have reset the first one at some point, but it's tough to judge sometimes. Yeah, this is another one where I'm gonna see how the Zen shots go, but I might... No improvement. Thanks. So there, who literally couldn't find a better shot than the one I lined up for him, so... Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because sometimes it's a good thing because you already had a good shot. Other times it's like, well, I would have liked something even better.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, hold on, I gotta start getting these things out of the way.
Oh,
Okay,
nice.
Nice.
Good bounces
Very
there
good.
too.
Wow. All right.
Nice.
Yeah, this
That
level's
is
pretty
exceptional.
tricky. Yeah, there's the big platform that covers most of the middle of the level, making it pretty difficult to get shots through. The portals that lead to that UFO, that flying
UFO.
saucer.
And man, the UFO is harder than it looks.
Yeah,
This
Try it.
level, more than anything, just has a very unique skill requirement because of the UFO gimmick.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. I'm making it look easy. It is not.
Yeah, that was good. It's definitely one of the more brutal ones. Okay.
And here's actually a master we haven't used throughout this run. I get the rare generation again. Let's not do that.
Yeah, this is Bjorn's time to shine. Bjorn is the one of the, I would say, like the mascot of the game, basically, because he's the first master in the game and is just a lovable character. But he's not really that competitive when it comes to being used in a speedrun like this. But this level is a chance for him to shine because his aiming line that we see now is just that much is just really good when it comes to getting to these pegs that are buried away, tucked away on the sides and beneath.
Yeah, this is like one of those more this level is of course very similar to Shadow Shining Knights, which we the final level which we saw on the other side. And there you saw britsha also use Bjorn for the full clear.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm using Bjorn for a couple of these very specific shots where there are pegs that I know that are really hard to reach.
Mm-hmm.
That was unlucky.
Okay.
Happens.
Okay, that was a good one with some good
that
bounces.
was going to be okay. This one. Perfect. Oh. Okay.
A bit of a tight spot.
Perfect.
But Satan gets it.
There
Nice.
we go. Okay,
And
we're
now-
going to try the one shot a couple of times.
Okay.
Let's see
Yeah,
what
so
we
this
can
is
do.
the final level, which Satan will full clear, and there's a couple of strategies that she is going to use. Well, she's first going to try to do the most stylish one that can be a little hard to get
I
consistently.
think you missed the cycle you were supposed to go for.
No,
Yeah.
no worry. It's every
You
few.
can, you can get it every
Yeah.
2 as well. Yeah. Okay. We'll give her a chance to...
moved hand there.
So this will...
You can explain what I'm doing if you want.
Mhm. Yeah, this strategy is both pixel perfect and frame perfect, kind of. It's a little bit it's very specific, very precise, in that Satan is aiming at a very specific part of that one peg, and if she doesn't aim at the exact part, it won't go at the exact angle it needs. And then beyond that, there is only a few frames that aren't even adjacent in the cycle, so that you need to hit for it to work. But the idea is that we will hopefully see in a minute is for the shot to bounce off of the bucket. When it all works out, it will bounce off of the bucket, and well, soon the helix will be no more. We'll just put it that way. Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting off pixels. My timing's fine though.
Yeah.
So hopefully.
Okay. And this was originally
Yeah.
And there we go.
Let's
Satan
go!
gets it.
Let's go!
And
Okay.
now
I was
and
worried we
now-
weren't gonna get that, but we did it.
and this
As
is
I
one of
said,
the
my
most
timing is fine.
one of the most satisfying things of all of Peggle.
Mm.
See, this is what you guys donated for. Are you happy? At full clear. Yay!
And now, after this, there is still a bit more of the level left, but it is very easy now.
Patrick.
Okay.
Yep, I'm gonna get rid of these moving pegs first so that they're not in my way. Oop. And then Hat helped just clear out a couple more. Perfect. And now I just have static pegs. So we can freeball to our heart's content. And that's the run, everyone. Thanks
Yeah,
for coming.
Yeah, I guess if we have any last messages while we're wrapping up the last level. See, or any announcements or anything.
Well, we always have stuff to say. There's never a moment where I won't have anything to say. But while you guys are wrapping up, why don't you shout out yourselves and let us know where we can find you?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the runners you're seeing here, britsha is of course one of one of the top levels in top level runners in both games, but especially in Knights now. You can find them on twitch.tv/britsha. There is Satan. Satan herself makes a lot of great content. Also, very strong runner. You can find her on twitch.tv/Satan isn't herself, because unfortunately, name was taken. Probably.
Yep.
And then poetry does a lot of just
You're fine.
makes a lot of great does a lot of the more endurance type runs, like e.g. Extreme Grandmaster in either game, and there's Satan's done.
That's
Yep,
time.
that's the final time.
Okay.
So let's have a look at
Yeah.
Twitch. I'm waiting for Twitch to. Yeah. So 109.55. That's
Oh, sub-estimate.
the estimates. Let's go. We saved the estimates.
Yeah, that is really
Yeah.
good.
I will say, yeah, a lot went wrong during that run, but the Helix, that makes it all right.
Mhm.
All right.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was the run. A great little co-op twist on this on these two amazing speed games. Of course, to finish out the shoutouts, you can find poetry on twitch.tv/poetrystud. And then there's me.
Poetry Stud Gaming, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah, that's no
forgot.
problem.
Poetry Gaming, yes. You made that when you were 16, weren't you?
Yeah.
True.
But yeah, and then there's me. Twitch.tv/brassbeat. I do a lot of runs as well, and I tend to focus a bit more on live strat discussions lately, because that's just how I roll. I like to sort of innovate the game wherever possible, and that's what I've been kind of focusing on recently. And for all of us, it's kind of the classic spring marathon submission season now. So you're gonna probably see a lot of different categories when we're going, and that has been Peggle.
It was a lot of fun. Thanks
As
for
Brad
having
said,
us.
thank you for having us. We all stream pretty regularly, I would say. I'm kind of a PopCap variety person and do Pokemon. Britsha does a ton of stuff. Poetry does a ton of stuff. Brass does really cool strat hunting stuff. So Peggle community is really active. Go to the SRC page for any of these games, any Peggle game. There's more Peggle games than just these two, by the way. And some of them are free. These games, by the way, they're $1 on Steam right now. Spring sale. If you want to play these two games, that's the best way to do it, probably. And then some of the other games are free. So yeah, Peggle's super accessible. Come to the SRC pages and come to the Discords. We would love to see you. Thanks.